What is up, racers, and welcome to part 4 of our F1 2021 Breaking Point journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you missed our previous episode, then please go check that one out. It was amazing. Aiden Jackson's career looks like it's on the rise. Despite facing a puncture in his home Grand Prix, he finished in the points, and we pulled up Pierre Gasly and just went ahead and won the Italian Grand Prix. But now we've got a fight on our hands for P5 in the Constructors, and the Mexican Grand Prix is a race we hope to benefit on. Let's head right into it.
How's it feeling out there, Aiden?
Yeah, good. I think we can start to push a little. Where's Casper?
Ahead of you. Don't worry about Casper, Aiden. Let's just improve your current position.
Yeah, copy.
Alright, so as I said before, we're fighting for P5 in the Constructors, and we passed Lance Stroll for P12, but Stroll tries to dive us down the inside of turn 1, I believe. And ooh, okay, that objective has me concerned, because the last time we had an objective where we had to catch up to a driver before a certain lap, it ended in a crash. I hope that doesn't happen. We have to cross our fingers. Anyway, we've got to catch up to our teammate, because, well, like I said, we need to benefit off some points if we want to finish in P5 in the Constructors. As he passed a lapped car, I believe it was Antonio Giovinazzi. Now we're behind Sebastian Vettel for P11, and we're trying to go around for a move around the outside of turn 3. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, but we're on a DRS straight into turn 4 at the Autodromo Hernando Rodriguez as we dive down the inside of Sebastian Vettel into turn 4. Great move, just keeping it on track, and now we're behind Valtteri Bottas. What's the Mercedes driver doing all the way down here? I mean, he's not supposed to have this bad run of form until, F1 2021. But here we go, onto the third DRS straight, heading to turn 12, into the stadium section. We're going to break away into the inside end. Not the cleanest bit of driving on my part. We give Bottas the position back, because that just wasn't fair. But in the process, we end up losing 2 places, so we're back in P12. I find I'm making a lot of mistakes on Breaking Point. I don't know whether or not it's just because it does feel a lot different to drive than in the My Team career mode. I don't know whether that's something in the settings. Just let me know in the comments. But anyway, I want to see if we can pass Bottas again, legitimately this time, into the stadium section. We go with DRS, diving down the inside, breaking late into turn 12, and great little pass. And this time with no contact, which is something we want. Like I've said before, I don't want to be a dirty driver. For some reason, like I said, on Breaking Point, it just happens that way. And I'm not really finding good excuses this time as to why that's happening. But anyways, heading down the start-finish straight, the longest straight on the track. I'm going to see if we can make a move on Sebastian Vettel. We should, because that Ferrari is terrible. As we go out, around the outside, Vettel tries to squeeze us off the track. He tries to dive down into turn 1. We squeeze him out, and we take the position back, and we're into the points. And great work by us. We're going to get 3 points, well, with just 1 point, but we want to do better. We're not satisfied with just a point. And we're going to try and pass Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault down the same start-finish straight. DRS, great slipstream down here as we side up behind the Renault's rear wing. Ricciardo tries to defend the inside, but he leaves the outside wide open in a racing line. We're going to dive down again, show Ricciardo once again the last of the late breakers, how to get things done. And there we go, into P9. And up ahead's our teammate, Casper Ackerman. We caught him before lap 17. And hopefully it doesn't come to blows. Let's do it.
It's clear from anyone watching either in the stands or at home the determination on show from AlphaTauri and Aiden Jackson today.
No, you're not wrong there, Ant. His performance has improved race by race throughout the season, and his driving today, impeccable. Here's a test for him now, though, as they head down the main straight. There's a lot of friction between these two, and his teammates after him. Will he budge?
Hold position, Aiden.
Oh, I've never seen anything like this on a racetrack before. 2 teammates wheel to wheel.
Keep it clean.
Inches separating them and they crash. Oh, they've come together in spectacular style and they're both out of the race.
So much for a good run of form. That couldn't have gone well, and that word sums it all up.
Close the door. Sit down. What the hell was going on out there? We've invested millions in you two. Millions. And look at you both. Acting like a couple of school kids. You've got a lot to prove this year, boy. And you're swanning around like butter wouldn't melt. And as for you, you should know better. I'm disgusted. You should both be ashamed.
Brian,
Not a word. Not a single word. I should fire you both right here and now. You've screwed our chances this season. The team is bigger than you two and your petty squabbles. Grow up! Any more, and you're both out. You hear me? I'll finish the season behind the wheel myself if I have to. Both of you, get out.
I wonder if this is how every Haas team meeting goes between the two drivers. That was terrible. Terrible. You can understand Brian's frustration. And that's just full of awkwardness. Why are we following Casper now?
Go away.
Hey.
Hey.
So, what did he say?
Threatened to fire both of us.
He won't.
That's not the point.
I'll just leave you be.
Is Lily okay? Does she know I'm safe?
Yeah, she saw you climb out. She's fine. I left her with your mother.
Okay, good.
You've survived worse, you know?
Doesn't make it any easier.
Maybe not, but you're not hurt. And you have a family who'll love you. The rest are just details. I'll see you later.
Aww. That was definitely not a very good thing, though. I mean, that crash. I mean, we'll touch on that crash in a little bit, but wait. This isn't Aiden's room. I mean, that's not his helmet. Was never that organized, and I don't remember if he ever had a coffee maker. What is going on here? Wait. Oh, we're Casper now. Okay, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I didn't anticipate this at all. I mean, the game advertised Breaking Point as being played solely in Aiden Jackson's perspective. I didn't know we were going to do a perspective change, but I mean, on all fairness, it does work out here. I mean, this is sort of like the big coming together. Like, the tension's been there throughout all this story mode's campaign so far, and I mean, now we get to see the other side after a big collision, and hopefully, maybe we'll gain some sympathy for Casper, because I have been very critical about him in the past, but yeah, that crash. I mean, who was to blame? Honestly, in comparison to many of the other incidents between the two teammates, I think this is 50-50. I mean, Aiden was told to hold position, so clearly he was in the wrong there, but Casper did move over rather aggressively when Aiden clearly had pace. And of course, he did squeeze Aiden out, which caused him to go into the grass and spin out. So, in the end, 50-50, but it doesn't matter, because we lost a P5 in the Constructors this season. But we can't really reflect on that, because we're already heading into F1 2021, the next season. And it's Q3 at the Australian Grand Prix. Will we get a qualifying session run? I don't know, but let's just jump into it and see how it goes.
Here we are then, another season of Formula One racing is upon us. Some teams confident following pre-season, whilst others still looking for answers. Let's see what the future holds for them as qualifying gets underway here in Melbourne. So, Aiden Jackson in 9th, but AlphaTauri still hopeful the youngster can secure a decent position for them. Let's see how he gets on here. Teammate Casper Ackerman didn't make it through to Q3, narrowly missing out by just
13 milliseconds. You did all you could. If I went out second today, I would have those 13 milliseconds back, no problem. Why do they keep sending me out first?
11th isn't the end of the world, Casper. You'll make those places back.
Yeah, for sure.
Shouldn't have to.
Ooh, and the drama doesn't look like it stopped in 2020, but it does look like we're going to stay in Casper Ackerman's perspective. Interesting. I'll touch more on that later. We're getting a call from Zoe. I'm assuming that's Casper's wife. Let's answer it and see how it goes.
Zoe, hey.
Morning, Daddy.
Lily, you know it's not morning where Daddy is, right?
Mummy says you're on the other side of the world.
That's right. Daddy is in Australia. I'm upside down.
Then why don't the cars fall off?
Mommy can explain that. Can I speak to her?
Don't fall off, Daddy.
I won't, Lily. Promise.
Hey, qualifying not so good, huh?
They sent me out first.
Again?
Yeah.
Well, some of your best races were coming from midfield.
Yeah?
Yeah. Besides, I thought you loved a challenge. Lils, off the table. Now, it's breakfast time. I should go.
Sure.
You'll be great. You always are. Love ya.
Love you too.
Aww. I love the extra detail that Codemasters has put into the story mode. To have all the phone conversations, and now we're in the perspective of Casper Ackerman, someone who even I have been very critical about. It's starting to change a bit because, I mean, we're seeing it from Aiden's perspective, which obviously, from his perspective, you would villainize Casper. But now that we're seeing it from his perspective, we kind of feel bad, you know? I mean, just ask Sebastian Vettel what it's like to be a veteran driver, but having to make way and become the second driver to a younger teammate who is arguably being given the preferential treatment. It's hard, and seeing him as, you know, he's a family man, he's got a daughter, and just seeing it from his perspective, you kind of sympathize with him. So it's a good move by Codemasters, but now let's head into the Australian Grand Prix, and let's race from Casper Ackerman's perspective, and see if we can prove the haters wrong.
Something's not right.
Understood, Casper. We're on it.
It's the gearbox. I lost the gear.
Push on, Casper. We're assessing. Just push on best you can.
I'll try.
Oh dear. Well, things don't go out well. As you can see, we've lost 7th gear, which is making the most horrific sound as we're trying to go up to 8th, and it's going to affect our speed. But now our objective is simply just to finish the race with the fault. That doesn't stop our objective of proving the haters wrong. Let's see what we can do, even with this fault.
Bad news on the gearbox. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic. Just keep at it. Do your best. That's all we can ask.
Well then, so there goes the possibility of a quick fix. So we've got to mitigate this terrible sound, and of course it's going to affect our performance entirely. But let's see what we can do with DRS and ERS down the start-finish straight. We're catching up to Lance Stroll, who is now in the Aston Martin. With a dive down the inside, but Stroll closes us out. We get caught up. We kind of shove him off.
Green flag.
It was the gearbox. I'm blaming it on the gearbox. It was the gearbox. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, here we are. We totally didn't just push a guy off the track. And here we are into P10 now. And in the points. And I'm realizing Butler's behind us. P11. In the 2021 Haas? He's P11? There you go. That's how you know realism is out the window. But as you can see, missing the gear, we were catching up to Fernando Alonso ahead of us. But the minute we started struggling to find 8th gear, the time just increased. So you can see just how much even losing a gear can impact your speed. But now we're catching up to Fernando Alonso behind in the Alpine now. Beautiful car. And now we're just going to slip in the slipstream. We make contact with his rear front right. So rear left, rear right tire. Sorry about that. No front wing damage, but even though we're not playing as Aiden Jackson, we're still having collisions. But we make it past Fernando Alonso, and now we're catching up to Aiden Jackson, our teammate. And I was thinking of diving down into turn 3, but I think better of it. You know, we've had enough tensions between the two of us. Let's try and not give the media more fuel to add to the fire. So let's just go at it. And here we are, down the same street we passed Fernando Alonso. We're going to try and keep it as clean as possible. We dived into turn 13, and, well, that was our cleanest move this race. And we're up into P8 in the points. Not too bad. Unfortunately, with the performance issue, we're not able to catch up. Max Verstappen wins the Australian Grand Prix, so great work by the Red Bull team. Similar to in 2021, in real life, they're off to a cracking start. But considering that we were in P11, and with a gearbox issue, not only did we manage to finish in the points, but ahead of our teammate, I think that's a moral win on our part. So, not the best start to the 2021 season, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of positives to look at for Casper Ackerman. Hopefully, things are only on the up for AlphaTauri from now on.
We've witnessed some great battles on the streets of Melbourne today, and they've taken a fantastic win. Well, what's happened there to Casper Ackerman? Still managed to finish, but that's got to be frustrating, Ant.
Yeah, looks like maybe it was a gearbox fault, which is always a blow for the driver. Ackerman won't be happy, but I'd say he's done very well in the circumstances.
Well, this isn't the start he would have wanted after last season. Let's hope things pick up for him. The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So in the end, it's a Red Bull 1-2, something I don't think has happened in a long time, even in Red Bull's recent history, even this season. So already diverging from the path, but as Crofty said, Ackerman's season, again, not starting off the best of ways.
Bad luck out there today. Let's talk about it. So, not a great race out there for you today, Casper. Can you talk us through what happened?
It's pretty obvious what happened, Claire.
Well, it was clearly an issue with the gearbox. Not a great place to be as a driver, but we'll work on it, I'm sure.
Well, despite obvious vehicle difficulty, you still managed to finish. How hard is it to bring it over the line when facing such issues?
Seems pretty easy. I mean, we beat Jackson.
Well, it's almost impossible. You have the race going on around you, and all you want to do is compete. Your adrenaline is up, but there's nothing you can do about it. What else can I say?
While it's an unfortunate start to this season, last season was muddied by a tense relationship with your teammate. How are things now with you and Aiden?
Oof, let's just go diplomatic.
That was last season. It's no secret that Aiden and I had a few run-ins. But that's the risk when you put two drivers together for the first time. I don't like to look back, only forward. I'm sure he's learned a lot, and we'll see what happens this season.
Great. Well, that's everything.
All right, then. And, well, I mean, looks like we're still going to be playing as Casper in Casper Ackerman's perspective. But, I mean, you can see his frustration for sure. I mean, this race was mired of frustrations and probably questioning his role in the team now. I mean, faulty component right away, being put out first in qualifying and not making the Q3. Definitely frustrating, but I'm liking the perspective change. Like I said, now we're starting to understand Casper's perspective, and hopefully, now I'm hoping, even though I have been very critical of Casper, that he improves in the latter half of the season. But that's going to conclude this episode. Apologies for it being very short. I didn't realize chapter 6 and 7 were such short chapters, but that means we'll probably have some longer ones in the future. Thank you for joining me today. I'm the ISO Racer. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Share the video, share the love, and I'll see you guys real soon. I'm the ISO Racer. Remember, life's a marathon, not a sprint, but make sure you're always in a position to win it all. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.